There Are Words. Why There Are Words is a quarterly national writing workshop, not really a workshop, a reading series, I guess you could say, that began in Sausalito, California, and spread to Austin, Pittsburgh, Portland, LA, New York, and as an underground railroad, so to speak, to provide a place for the new writers that were being published by Why There Are Words to be able to read their work. So the first two books were published this year, and I expect in 2018 we'll be seeing some of them come through. Our next event will be September 27th. I changed it. And we'll have people who are yet to be announced. Michael Elwood may be here. Okay, 4 readers tonight. We'll go straight through without any interruption. We can schmooze afterwards. I'm so glad you all came. I know you had, I don't know, what's on TV tonight? Something probably just unforgettable that you know, Antiques Roadshow? No, that was not right.
Anything you DVR.
Okay. I met Jan Reid in 2008 at the Dobie Paisano Ranch. We had both been fellows many different years apart, and it was their 40th anniversary. And they brought in fellows from all over the country. They bussed them in, and my partner Phil and I were playing bluegrass because the mariachi band was late and for the event. And it was quite an interesting thing to see people getting off the bus, because at the time that I was a Dobie Paisano fellow in 2007, the construction had started to happen behind the Paisano Ranch that was coming from the Bee Caves direction. And all the former fellows who had been there when this was all pristine got off the bus just shell-shocked. They had X's in their eyes. You know, they couldn't believe what had happened to this area since they had been fellows. But we were all very lucky to be able to share this experience of having 6 months to write uninterrupted on a ranch of 256 acres, I believe. And I guess I was there when the last longhorn gave up its horns, which are now mounted above the fireplace. At any rate, I'm really excited that Jan's here. He's got a brand new book. But if you don't know him, you need to know he was born in Abilene and grew up in Wichita Falls, of all places. After graduating from Midwestern University, he took a master's at UT and became a journalist afterwards, and wrote also for Texas Monthly and the new Braunfels Herald-Zeitung. Boy, there's a name. He wrote 7 nonfiction books, including The Improbable Rise of Redneck Rock and Roll, Let the People In, The Life and Times of Ann Richards, a memoir which I just finished, The Bullet Meant for Me. He's best known for his nonfiction. His love has always been fiction, yes. First novel, Comanche Sundown, driven by the last Comanche war chief, Quanah Parker, and Bose Ikard, A Free Slave Cowboy, which won the Texas Institute Fiction of the Year Award for 2010. This year, Sins of the Younger Son, a ranch-reared Texan's love story that unfolds amid the exotic history and conflict of the Basque provinces in Spain. In 2013, TIL, Texas Institute of Letters, honored Jan Reid with its Lonn Tinkle Award for Career Achievement. I want to say too that the theme, I have a different theme for each one, and this one is thresholds and borders, and I've asked each writer to interpret how they might want to approach that. So please welcome Jan Reid.
It's an honor to be here. Great seeing so many good friends. Yeah.
In the right height for
Is
you.
that right?
Get close.
Now they're working. I'll just start. Give you some idea of what this book is about. March 1994. Luke Burgoas Communications came from Peru, Madariaga. He came or did not come from the road outside Bayonne, a small city in the French Basque country. There was a short stake attached to the roadside. 6 days a week, a baguette wrapped in a trim paper sack was placed there, and he was supposed to look each day for the note that might be enclosed. Luke supposed it was a good system as long as the baker was one of your guys. Near the safe house, a grove of palm trees stood among chestnut trees in a cemetery where he broke and scattered the bread for birds and critters of the night. Lord Wellington had chased Napoleon's army out of Spain in one of the preludes to Waterloo. But one April night in 1814, officers of the elite Coldstream Guards got surrounded and extinguished. Set in the wall of the graveyard was a marble slab that was placed there by Queen Victoria in 1889. Captain Lionheart reporting, Your Highness, said Luke, breaking at the bread. A dog up behind him in the woods. He looked around and a collie sauntered forth with a lowered head, grinning like an imbecile. Luke offered his hand and let the dog smell it. The collie inspected the weeds, raised the leg, and marked the royal plaque. And a woman emerged in the shade, wearing a long belted skirt and a loose blouse, sleeves pushed above silver bracelets on her arm. Am I intruding? She said as he stared. Should I go? No, God, no. I didn't think I'd ever see you again. Well, you have. You remember Barclay? Sure. Does he always show his teeth like that? With him, it means he's being friendly. What do you call him? Barcaloo, she said with a smile. It means sweet biscuit in Basque. He said, did your husband send you here? He said, don't ask so many questions. Come and have lunch. Parked along the road was a brown Land Rover. She led the dog in, locked the dog in back, and put on sunglasses. She wheeled the Rover hard, turning around, and banged the gearbox with a jangle of bracelets that left his eyes on the sinews in her forearm. This used to be a Jewish quarter, she said. They were refugees, run out of Portugal and Spain, marvelous chocolatiers. The whole town reeked of it. Luke lit a cigarette. He said, during the Inquisition, Spain attacked the French Basque. The villages were thought to be thick with witches, and people feared the Spaniards were going to burn them all. The Bayonne regiment turned them back. They were out of powder. So they tied hunting knives to their primitive rifles and ran screaming down the mountain called La Rue, and invented the term bayonet. She cracked the window. What do you know about witches? He rolled down his window very fast and tossed a cigarette. Not much, but I go to museums. I take an interest. Museum of the Basques here devotes a lot of attention to witches and Simon Bolivar and the Ignatius of Loyola. But I didn't see one word or image about the Spanish Civil War, Franco, or the other side of the Pyrenees, really. It's curious. They try not to think about it, she said, unless they're smugglers. Some never crossed the border into Spain. Luke followed, his gaze followed the lines of her neck and jaw. You know, he said, you have one of the world's great throats. The car swerved slightly. Thank you, she said. You just made a dark day shine, Isolina. diamonds out of chalk. She grinned. I get it. You're one of those guys with the lines. They crossed the bridge of the Outdoor River. He watched her legs trimmed loose beneath the skirt. Do you live in Bayonne? He asked. No, most of the time in Paris. Are you in hiding? Not from the French police, maybe thoughts of you. She parked the car, put the dog on a leash as they entered the old quarter. My husband likes you, she remarked. Glad to hear it. He offered to kill me. Do we talk about him? He's why you're here. Well, reasons change, don't they? Bright one morning. Proof says you're dangerous, courageous, and foolhardy. Luke snorted. He's one to talk. Are you ever frightened? Sure, all the time. Of what? Of root canals, cancer, your husband. 3 o'clock in the morning. She laughed again. 3 in the morning. Then the dawn. More of the police out there. Take my word for it. She hiked her shoulders agreeably. What scares you? He asked. His thoughts, nothing changing. Are you Etta? He asked. She turned his sunglasses on him, then saw the dawn. The cafe she chose had 2 small tables outside. The colleague circled like a wolf and laid his chin on his paws. The waiter brought a carafe of water and then went away. She took Luke's hand and intertwined in hers, but not all that gentle. Some rules, she said. Your purpose here, whatever it is, whatever you're doing with Peru, it has nothing to do with me. If it does, or if it begins to, I'm gone. Pooch, you understand? She sat back, put the sunglasses aside, and sipped some of the water. Order for me, he said, staring at the menu. Oh, your face is red, she said. She uncrossed her legs and leaned over the table. She picked his pack of cigarettes out of his shirt pocket, withdrew one, and shoved it like a pencil above his left ear, arranged the lock of his hair. Now you're it. How's that? In the early days, when Franco was alive, that was the secret signal. That was how you knew. But then everybody knew, and the signal became fashion. You put on lipstick and pull back your hair, but not just any cigarette, though. Any brand with 5 rings around the filter, or one that had a star and crescent of the Turkish state monopoly. So there were warnings at school, no more cigarettes behind the ear. Naturally, the last ones to take it up were Spanish cops. You know, broad lapels, flashy ties, sideburns and hairspray, cheap gold chains, and a cigarette. It was funny. The waiter returned. She ordered trout with ham and garlic, frog legs and pastry, pimientos vinaigrette, and a bottle of Spanish village wine. Collie dozed. Oh dear, she said. We stopped talking. I can't get enough of you, but you intimidate, he said. I don't know the limits, she said. Maybe there aren't any. Pushing with her arms, she came out of her chair and kissed him. Her lips reached even as she pulled away. All kinds of alarms were going off in his head. When she sat back, she looked perplexed as well. That's not the kind of thing I do, she said. Well, I wish you'd do it again. She said, my heart's coming from my shirt. The waiter arrived with glasses and wine. He opened the bottle and tossed the cork over his shoulder in the street. Luke took this to be a statement about Spanish village whites. Or maybe it was because they were speaking Spanish. Tell me who you are, Luke said, how you live. She shrugged. My father was a petrol distributor, and he was a member of the plunge until he saw how terrible it was going. My mother died when I was 16. After that, the last place Papa wanted me was in a Spanish university. The campus is swarmed with Spanish security police. There were demonstrations in San Sebastian, Pamplona, and Bilbao all the time. We used to go to them dressed to the nines, high heels, miniskirts, running shoes, and our purses. Papa knew what would happen if I stayed in Spain, so he sent me to Paris. She laughed, rubbed me, and married Peru. What can parents do? Franco's been dead for 9 years, Luke observed. He has, she said, with some fire. But forgive me for thinking my exile is evidence that not much has changed, not for Basque. They set out to extinguish our language and almost did. And the Guardia Civil were foul people. You could get a jaw smash for just looking at them. El Glorioso, they called Franco. Dear God, his crowd plundered Euskadi and Catalonia because they had been prosperous and fought in the Civil War. You have to understand, ETA began as heroes because they rose up and fought back. When Franco died, Euskadi sewer ran out of champagne. The way he watched her throughout more. I have friends in Paris, a nice place to live. I'm a doctoral candidate at the Sorbonne, but I'm stalled on the project that's been approved by my professors. The most important archives are in Spain, and I can't go there. She shook her head, married to one row, and here I sit with another. She raised her glass in a mock toast. Here's the higher learner. What's your research project? He asked. She brightened. A Basque ancestor, a confessed witch. Really? Did she go to the stake? Oh, I'm sorry, that must have been rude. It's all right. She did come close. Honora was a young and wealthy widow. The Inquisition never knew what to do with her, but they sure didn't like her. Luke poured some more wine. What'd you call her? Honora de Anibado. Swallow, the pasture. Another gong went on in his head. Swallow was spy speak for an enemy woman who used sex to gain information and expose and turn agents. A woman who could get you and other people killed. Pretty name, he said. You like this woman? Well, I like her story. Well, was she or wasn't she a witch? She said she attended black masses. She may have, I don't know. Another question is whether she did what else she confessed to. Well, what did she say she did? She shrugged those wonderful shoulders, made love to the devil. Luke's laugh sent wine up his nose. The waiter left a basket of bread and the platter of pimientos afloat in olive oil. Go on, said Luke, splitting peppers on their plates. She ate in the European manner, fork in the left hand, times turned down. My views of witchcraft are colored by our times, she said. The stereotype of the Crowns is partly accurate, Macbeth and all that. But children came into the cults as young as age 9. They were all these nymphets and gods and anklets dancing to flutes and drums. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll, if you ask me. What kind of drugs? He asked. Excretions of toad. The witches kept them in their homes. They made little garments for them and force-fed them like geese. He laughed again, and she touched his hand with a knife. Toxins in toads found here are known to be hallucinogenic. Confessions made 400 years ago read like the LSD and peyote memoirs of our time. They could assume the forms of animals and leap through cracks in walls. They could fly. The way around the trailways. Some ancestor, Luke said. What did the devil look like? Hard, handsome, horns of a goat, the tail of a donkey. Every village had one. And the descriptions varied. The constants were the black suit, dark skin, red eyes. Everyone agreed, though, that Lord, the Lord of Pamplona, was the most distinguished and striking. Where did they do it? Sometimes in her home, more often at the masses, when the music and dancing began. She colored and touched her ribs beneath her breast. He liked her here. He made her lactate, and she never had children. Her ears popped. He sounded like a running horse. She saw colors that had no place in nature. His skin was ice cold. He had nails like the talons of a hawk. You've seen her confessions? I've seen her journals. The Spaniards say you're a bad girl, Isolina. Vesca saw her. But I'm not, I'm really not, she insisted. So you speak Basque? Hardly. I just remember some words of it. I can't make sense of reading it or following the conversation. So what happened to your witch ancestor? She got pregnant in one of the secret prisons. But who was the father? Her parish priest, a young man named Andre de Sriracha. She swore that during several visits, he was the one who got her pregnant. No one wanted to see a child born in the Inquisition prison. The inquisitors were convinced Satan was the real father. And Inquisition is so popular, so they polluted. What happened to the padre? He spent the rest of his life in a mission in New Spain, the part you now call New Mexico. What happened to her? They finally let her go. She died soon after that. How do you know all this? She said that Honora kept these tormented, flowing diaries that the priest smuggled out somehow, and that women in my family have handed down all this time, 400 years. They came to me from an aunt in San Sebastian. Isn't that fine? Yes, it is. I don't know if I even want to write the dissertation. It would be a violation of a confidence, don't you think? He shrugged, offered no opinion. I don't know my people's grandchildren, she said, the nieces and nephews. I have to go back to Spain. Not just to chase something that happened in the very distant past, to ever be happy again. Her expression was both hopeful and sad. Could you take me there? Would you, Luke?